Good afternoon, Evan. How are you today, kid?
I am splendid, sir. How was your weekend?
My weekend was actually phenomenal.
Good.
Yeah, I had a great
Good.
weekend.
Good.
Because sometimes you need consistency in your life. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing, especially me. So the more consistency, the better. And it is nice to know that, the Mets are the Mets.
Really?
Only the New York Mets have their own exclusive weather people that don't know the weather. Only the Mets. And here's the beauty of it. Well, we're going to talk about that, I'm sure, a lot today. Evan was there.
Yes, I was.
He's one of the 8,000 people that got screwed by the fact that the New York Mets apparently subscribed to a weather reporting service that nobody else in America subscribes to.
Dude.
The ghost of Lloyd Lindsey Young. Go ahead.
I don't get it, man,
Feel free.
because my plan was I went Saturday, and it was so good to be back. I haven't been at Citi Field since September of 19. I took my son Jet. I took my wife. And even though the offense was embarrassingly bad, we got to watch the best pitcher in baseball. That part was cool. So Sunday morning, I say to my wife, hon, here's the deal.
I'm going again.
I miss it. Do you mind if I go? She said no.
Nice.
You could go. You're going to go by yourself because I ain't going.
Right.
Jet ain't going.
I mean, it was raining.
And it was raining, and I said, look, here's what I'm going to do. When I hear the tarp is coming off the field, I'll go to the game. I live 40 minutes away. It's no big deal. All of a sudden, at 12:15, I see somebody on Twitter, I forget who, tweet out, tarp's coming off. I'm like,
tarp's coming
all right.
off the field because the New York Mets have some type of, and we'll get the audio from CeeLo coming up, some type of exclusive access to GAD.
Well, I don't know what God was telling him, but I drove through a rainstorm for 45 minutes.
Well, you're an idiot.
I had to run into the building because it was pouring, and I hear the music playing as the Mets are taking the field. So I'm running up the ramp because I don't want to miss first pitch.
While you're driving to the stadium.
Yes.
Excuse me. While you're driving to Citi Field, because there's only one stadium, as you all know, doesn't it dawn on you at some point, it's not letting up? But at moments, it's coming down harder.
I understand, but I am under the impression, rightfully so, they're going to play.
Well, they did say,
so
right?
I got to rush to get my scorebook ready. It's damn important.
Right.
I got to see, hey, is there a seat under cover? Because my seat is not under cover.
Okay.
I'm rushing up the rampway. I walk in just as Marcus Stroman's throwing his first pitch, and I'm looking out, and I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
I have been, Craig, at Met games in which they won't start games even without rain because there's rain in the forecast.
We've all seen that. It's happened for 100 years
and
where they say, well, there might be a 3-hour break. We're going to try to get it in.
Right.
And then a lot of times you've heard them say, look, there's just no break coming till tonight. So we're going to do the right thing for everybody involved, players and fans. And usually the criticism is, and we've had it for both the Mets and the Yankees, to be fair.
Yeah.
They don't make the decision early enough. That's usually the complaint.
Yes.
Well, in this case, not only did the New York Mets not make the decision early enough so that their fan base could be accommodated on a Sunday, they decided to start the game. 7 whole pitches. I think it was 7. Was it not?
Dude, so they start the game.
Marcus Stroman threw more warm-up pitches than he did actual pitches.
And Marcus Stroman did something which I completely agreed with. And I was
that?
actually screaming it out at him. He is stopping, standing off the mound, looking around, saying, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah.
And I said it. I'm sitting there. I got my scorebook out. I'm looking at the rain. I'm undercover. I'll admit, if you want to say I'm bougie,
right?
Fine, I'm bougie. I'm undercover. I got my book. And I'm looking around, and I go over to the security guard. I'm like, what are we doing? It's a rainstorm. And then finally, after 7 pitches, an out and a base hit, if I'm not mistaken, they call to bring the tarp on the field. Craig, I'm looking at my weather app.
Yeah.
There was never going to be a break in rain. Ever.
Right.
So what were they thinking starting this game? And I'm convinced they realized, look, there's 5,000 people there because 8,000 is the sold tickets. How many people actually showed up? A lot less than that. I don't think they gave a rat's ass about the fans. I don't think they thought about the poor person. And it's not me. I'm not looking for any sympathy. But for anyone else who paid the tolls, who paid the parking.
You ain't getting that money back.
Which you're not getting back.
I believe the Mets did give you a credit back. Now, some people buy tickets through other means. So I have no idea how those people get credited back. I guess if you're one of them, I'd love to find out. Like if you bought your tickets to that game through the secondary market, through random people, those people that were the ticket owners, as I understand it, were receiving a credit back towards the purchase of a ticket to another game, because this game, it's very interesting. Because they started the game and there's a man on base. Mm-hmm. When they make this up as part of a doubleheader in August, this part of the doubleheader is going to be 9 innings.
Yes.
And the second game of that doubleheader will be 7.
And this is a brand...
It's so stupid.
Well, it's also a brand new rule because everybody realizes, I think, that in the past, if they didn't play 5 innings, the whole thing was wiped out, which I actually had an issue with. Because you'd play 4 innings, let's say the Mets are up 6-1, and Pete Alonso with a 3-run homer. In the 4th inning, they stop the game to rain, and then they don't play it.
Right.
The game would be canceled. The home run wouldn't exist. Swear to God, it would be eliminated.
Yep.
So one thing baseball started last year, which I actually like, even though in this situation it feels weird, is they say, look, if we stop the game because of rain before the 5th inning, we're going to suspend it.
Correct.
And we're going to pick it up where it left off. Now, in a case like this, it feels absurd because it was only 2 batters.
It is absurd.
No, but but Craig.
No, I'm saying to play a game, then play a 7-inning game, like that whole thing. Listen, starting the game was stupid, but I want to be clear about this because Major League Baseball takes a lot of lumps, rightfully so, over the last couple of years. This was the Mets' decision.
Yes.
This is not Major League Baseball's call. The home team gets to decide, and of course they talk to the opposing team, and they're not douches about it. The New York Mets decided as a franchise, we can get it in.
And why? I understand they haven't played a lot lately, and that's been frustrating as a fan, and I don't know if they're going to play tonight because Earth to the Mets, there's a bad forecast for tonight, too.
Because, Evan, sing it with me.
What?
It's just the same old Mets with a different owner, but the same old Mets. It's just the same.
You're pissing me off.
Old Mets.
No,
God, tell you what.
No, I'm not singing.
If this was the Wilpon-owned Mets,
I understand.
You people would be going ape crap
hold on.
about the decision to start the game.
I'm ripping
Where's
them.
Steve Cohen?
I'm ripping the Mets.
Where's Sandy Alderson?
Look, it's on Sandy Alderson.
It's
I don't know if
the same.
No.
Oh, Mets.
Though Saturday was the same old Mets. Jacob deGrom is utterly brilliant and incompetent offense can't do anything.
That's right.
Look, I have an
Some
issue.
things never change. So just come down to it, Evan.
What?
The New York Mets are the New York Mets. It's in the DNA until they take away the 5% ownership of the Wilpons and kick Fred Wilpon off the board of directors. The New York Mets will never change. They're always going to be the same pathetic garbage.
No. I'm not buying this. It's 5 games into the season.
Right?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. How's the offense been in DeGrom
It's
starts
horrible.
this year? Same as every other year.
I admit that the DeGrom stuff is the same. I've been tweeting that over and over again. Change the owner, change the roster, change the manager, same result.
How about
I agree.
the competency of the franchise to start a game in a downpour?
It was pathetic.
It's just the same.
No.
Oh, Mets.
You're just looking to jump. You're just looking to jump.
Meanwhile, I do want to say this. And we'll have fun with the Mets all day because, frankly, they deserve to be mocked for what they did. And I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the social media crap that Stroman's got out there and the fact that he shied away from my offer to walk hand in hand to try to fight some of the injustices in the world that he sees. And I'm down with all that. Starting that game was so effing stupid that it's beyond. It's just absolutely beyond. And I'll tell you something else that's also beyond. For those of you who are diehard, long-time New York Yankee fans, you got to stop. You got to stop. You're embarrassing yourselves. Wah! We're 4-5. Wah! The Yankees don't hit in the clutch. Wah! Corey Kluber. Wah! My man, it's 9 games.
I'm sorry, what'd you say? It's 9 games? Is that what you just said?
I believe it's 9 games.
It's only 9 games.
Isn't
okay,
it?
continue.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Continue.
I think it's only
It's
9
only
games.
No, you're right. I just want to confirm that Craig Carton just said on the radio.
Yeah.
Calm down, Yankee fans. It's only 9 games. Now continue.
It's unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like a new school Yankee fan because you haven't won in 12 years. Oh, my God. God forbid you go a decade without a world championship. Welcome to every other franchise in this town. But the whining and moaning and complaining and the rhetoric I hear all day about how bad the Yankees are. They've played 3 series.
3 series.
They benefited from that stupid rule yesterday, and they've been burnt by the stupid rule with a man on second base. Blah, blah, blah. It's still a stupid rule.
Yes.
And you thank your asses that you had that rule yesterday. Plus Glaber.
Why?
Plus Glaber. Give Glaber a little credit.
No. Hold on a
Give
second.
Glaber a
I
little
don't
credit.
buy that the losses and wins are because of the rule. I just buy that the rule is stupid.
The rule is stupid.
They didn't win yesterday because of the rule.
Let me tell you something else that's stupid. Listening to Yankee fans complain 9 games into the season.
9.
And I'll tell you something else I don't buy nor do I accept. If you think, and I don't want to name names because I believe the guys that reported this believe it. I don't think they're trying to be shock jocks, right? Or shock columnists. If anybody thinks that after 9 games, Hal Steinbrenner is sitting at his country club bemoaning the New York Yankees start or their record, you got to be kidding me. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. Please tell me nobody thinks Hal Steinbrenner is concerned because the Yankees haven't hit in the clutch 9 games into the season. Guess what, folks? There's going to be another 9-game stretch during this season in which the New York Yankees go 4-5. Oh, and by the way, there's going to be a stretch where they go 9-0. Oh, and by the way, there might be a stretch where they don't hit in the clutch and they go 3-6. It's baseball, Suzyn. It's just effing baseball.
You're very right about what you said.
I know I'm right.
When you
it
said
pains me to always be right.
No, you're not always right because I'm going to bring you back on something.
I felt like I was always right there.
You were right about it's a 9-game sample size. You were right about let's not freak out about what happened Friday and Saturday against Tampa, though it felt very good for the Yankee fan to win the way they did yesterday.
Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah.
You cannot, in the course of 6 minutes, with a straight face,
what did I do?
With me sitting next to you,
who's here?
In one breath say, it's only 9 games, pipe down.
Pipe down.
And then before that, proceed to say, same old Mets through 5 games.
Yeah, 5 games,
Like,
11 days.
I'm sitting here, I'm listening to both.
Yes.
We need some form of consistency. So, I'm going to give you an
opportunity. That's
opportunity.
extraordinarily consistent.
Oh, really?
Because, and here's why.
Tell me why.
Because they're both the same.
How is that?
The Yankees have had slow starts in the last couple of years. They've won 100-plus games.
Okay.
The Mets are the Mets.
What do you mean the Mets are the Mets?
They're
the
an
Mets
embarrassing
started,
joke.
Stop it. The Mets
Let's
went
play
11.
a baseball game in the biggest downpour
No.
of the last 9 months.
I'm not defending.
Because that's genius.
I'm not defending the decision from
and
yesterday.
I'll tell you something. They put this poor Luis Rojas out there like a big matzo ball, explaining the, exclusive weather experts you apparently have, right? I tell you who your expert should be. Should be John Sterling.
And Suzyn Waldman. They were all over it.
I'm listening to John and Suzyn right around the same time. I was in the car, right? And the Mets are troubled with, what do we do? Are we starting? Are we not starting? Okay, let's start. And John and Suzyn, who, as you may or may not know, I actually didn't know until yesterday, to be honest, they're both sitting at Yankee Stadium.
Right.
To do these Yankee
so
away
they
games.
see the weather firsthand.
Yeah, so they're sitting at Yankee Stadium and they're like, it's raining.
Yes.
A lot.
Yeah, but you can't use Sunday, which was embarrassing, I'll be the first to admit, to then just continue to push this same old Mets BS. It's been 5 games, and I'm not going to sit here and accept it. I have to call you out for that.
The offense with DeGrom is the same?
Yeah, but Craig,
And the stupid decisions by the executive staff remains the same.
I agree with that.
Stupid.
But it's 5 games. You're going on about the Yankees through 9 games,
Yeah.
which you're right about. We've got to give this Met offense, which has been putrid, and this Met bullpen, which Edwin Diaz wasn't great on Saturday, and even this manager, who I've got plenty of things to rip about, even though they've only played 1 game since last we've been on the air. You can't in one breath say it's only 9 games, and then for the Mets, sing with that beautiful voice of yours, same old Mets through 5.
It's just
You
the same
can't.
go, Mets.
And you know what? While you're defending the manager, let me ask you a question.
Who?
I'm going to ask you a question.
Me?
Yes.
Go.
While Luis Rojas certainly wasn't single-handedly responsible for the decision to start the game.
We all agree on that, so we can put that out like Rojas is the messenger, but that's not fair for that to be on him.
Then let me ask you this.
All righty, sir.
Whose decision was it to start your number 2 starting pitcher in a driving rainstorm when you know there's a chance there's going to be a delay?
Great question. I don't know the answer.
Well, the answer is Luis Rojas.
Do we know that?
He's the manager of the team, and it was a mistake, okay? And I tried to reach out to Marcus Stroman on Twitter to ask his opinion on,
why don't
hey,
you call him?
Could you I don't have his phone number.
Oh.
Could you have been a bulk guy? Like, was it an option for Rojas to say, look, there's a rainstorm. Here, Jacob Barnes, start the game.
So, in other words, have an opener. If the rain lets up, then bring Stroman in. And if it doesn't, you didn't waste his turn in the rotation.
Correct. And look, if Marcus wasn't comfortable with that, which I understand, I'm sure Jacob deGrom wouldn't be, then have it be a bullpen day.
Yeah.
As opposed to starting a starting pitcher in a rainstorm. It's not a rule, Craig, that the announced starting pitcher has to pitch that day. And it's things like this. I'm sorry. It's things like this that make me worry about him as a manager. It ain't that complicated, Craig.
I wonder if that was his decision.
What? Okay, whose decision was it? The GM, Sandy Alderson?
I don't know. That's a great question for Thursday when he comes on with us.
Well, I'm going to ask it.
We did learn something last Thursday when you asked the question about deGrom coming out after 77 pitches in his season debut, which Met fans had a problem with because he was 9 straight outs, etc. And Rojas told you what you didn't know, that deGrom was a part of that decision.
And look,
so we did learn something.
If Jacob deGrom,
let's be fair and wait till Thursday.
I'm bringing it up now.
And then I'm not talking to him till Thursday.
No, it's not about simply was this only on Luis. I think it was. It's about the decision that the New York Mets made, and you can go sing Same Old Mets in the background if you want when I say this, because I'm going to rip them. The decision to take their number 2 starting pitcher, one of the most important starters in their rotation, and have them start in a rainstorm.
Yeah, it's a great question.
How the hell does that make sense?
And by the way, it's a good question for Stroman, too. Was he a part of that decision? Did they tell him you're doing that?
It's not on him. He's a starting pitcher.
No, I'm wondering, though, listen, the rain, it wasn't like the rain just, popped out of nowhere.
No, I understand, but
that is in the forecast. Like, I knew on Friday it was going to rain on Sunday, so I had to do all my gardening on Saturday. And I'm digging, because I knew what was coming on Sunday.
Yeah, no, we all knew. And look, I know what's coming tonight. So if the Mets are smart.
What's coming tonight?
It's another rainstorm.
Another rainstorm.
Just cancel the game now.
Well,
what are we doing?
Who do the Mets... I want to find out who the Mets' exclusive rain person is.
And I want to know where they get their information. Because anybody with an iPhone looked at the weather app or AccuWeather or what's that storm app called? Snowstorms, rainstorms.
There's Dark Sky. That's the best one.
That's the one.
That's the best one.
Every forecast said it's going to rain all day. Every one of them. And that's why when I got in the car to drive over there, I did feel like a moron. I'll admit, Craig. Because I'm like, what am I doing? It's a rainstorm. But when I knew they were starting the game, like anyone else with a ticket, you feel this obligation to go to the game. Do you not?
Yeah, listen, you always want to go to the game. We got lots to do today. Obviously, Mets and Yankees out of the gate. Kyrie Irving is out tonight, but hold your horses on that. Something very interesting happened over the weekend. I'm not sure if it's the reason why Kyrie's out Monday or not, but we will discuss the Kyrie situation because Kyrie made a stand, and he got kicked out of the game because of it, and I find it very interesting. And I've not seen yet, and maybe a lot of people don't know about it yet, a lot of reaction amongst the other NBA players to what allegedly took place in the game on Saturday night between the Lakers and the Nets. You know the outcome of the game. The Lakers smoked the Nets. Kyrie also got kicked out of the game. We'll go into it later on and discuss if that had anything to do with his planned absence for tonight and what you think about Kyrie's message, which came out after the game, about what he claims took place on the court. So it's very interesting. I will get into that, but we'll start with all the baseball. 877-337-6666. Also, Sam Darnold has spoken. Jet fans, wait to hear what he had to say about Joe Douglas. Very interesting.